Welcome back to Exploring Whiskeys. I'm Eric.
And I'm Kevin, and we are exploring whiskeys from around the world.
And today we are going to be sampling the Booker's Bourbon Batch 2020 Q2, the Boston Batch.
Boston Batch. We've done the 2001 before, so they always do a nod to something that happened in Booker No's life. Mm-hmm. He was sixth generation Beam distiller, master distiller, and the Boston Batch is a nod to the distillery that they still own in Boston, Kentucky. It was an ancillary distillery.
His experimental lab.
Yeah, he got to play there. He spent apparently a lot of time there just messing around with.
But he had a lot of fun.
Mash builds, ages, barrel differences. Yeah, I'm sure he had a lot of fun there. The story that I ended up reading on this one was that Booker's wife said that this Boston distillery, that was his first child. This bottle was picked by not only his actual child, his second child, the seventh generation Beam, but this will be the first Booker's that was actually helped selected by the eighth generation Beam. Jeffrey? No?
Freddie.
Freddie. There you go. So, like all Booker's, you gotta love the presentation here. It just stands out, and it's just nice to have on a bar. It stands out. It looks good. It kind of sits in all there.
The other three you got up here.
Yeah, there's a few more up there. They do give you a little card with some of the history, some of the notes, and a lot of what I find super interesting, the fact that they do it and they pick so many different barrels. So this is 3 different production dates, 4 different rack houses. 11% are coming from the 3rd floor of the 7th warehouse, or 7th story. Wait, what? From the 3rd floor of 7-story warehouse 5. Okay, now that makes more sense. 33% is coming from the 5th floor of 9-story warehouse G. 27% is coming from the 6th floor of the 9-story warehouse H. And the 29% is coming from the 5th floor of 7-story warehouse Z.
A lot of warehouses. Though, is their warehouses aren't the same height.
No, yeah, 2 7s and 2 9s.
Yeah.
And I want to say there was a 5 or a 6 when we reviewed the 01.
So in other shows we've done with other distilleries, they pick from the same,
like a certain floor. Yeah. Which I actually just saw a bottle where it's like instead of a single barrel, it's a single rack bottling.
Oh.
I was like, ooh, that's kind of an interesting concept. So, the 6 or 7 barrels that are right in that honey pot spot of a warehouse, I was like, ooh, that's really an interesting concept.
I think it's Knob Creek that actually puts it on the bottle.
Of where it came from. Yeah, I do believe they do that. So, that is...
It's interesting the makeup of this bottle.
Yeah, they really are picking around, trying to find a very specific note. It's got to be so much fun to do that. It really does. So, long and short, Booker's, they tend to do summers between 6 and 8 years. This one is very specific. It is, and all of them are very specific. But this is the youngest whiskey in here is 6 years, 3 months, and 10 days. That is the most. It's kind of a little anal, and I'm kind of a fan of that, honestly. Like, I like to track things. Like, that's kind of a very cool thing. So, and 63.25 ABV, 126 proof. It's going to have a little...
I'm feeling the hug coming on.
It's going to have a hug. Breaking this open specifically for the show. So looking forward to this. I mean, there's ethanol, but it's not...
It's not overpowering.
Overpowering.
At all. And I was kind of anticipating.
I get a lot of peanut.
I'm going to come back to the nose. I'm not getting a ton. Let's see after a taste.
Yeah, sometimes when the ethanol is a little higher, that's really all you're going to get. And then when you take that first taste, everything kind of gets acclimated to that higher proof. But I'm getting a lot of peanut off the nose.
Yeah, it's got some heat on it. But it's very, very peanutty on the taste. Very strong peanut.
I got a lot of roasted peanuts. There's a lot of baking spices in the beginning, which I did not get on the nose at all. And a good hug is coming through right now. Wow, that is a very strong hug to be coming through. And only 126. 10 Bookers will run from around 126 to around 130, mid to low 30s.
Yep, like $1.34, I think one. I got a little bit of vanilla on the nose when I came back. It's not strong though. I think the peanuts for me kind of over.
Yeah, there's a lot of peanut note in there
on the nose and to the taste.
Little nod to the Knob Creek of that is the peanuts that you get off of Knob Creek is definitely something you get there, and very reminiscent of the George Dickel. Yeah. There's a lot of the. It's slightly different though. This is more.
The Knob Creek Black Wax too.
Yeah, very similar. Yeah, that's true. But this is a different the Dickel was more of that raw peanuts, like the dusty note to it. This is more of a roasted peanut. Like there's a little bit of a toasty, charred note in there. I'm starting to get more of the baking spices now. There's a cinnamon note that comes through really strong. I love these higher proof bourbons is something that I really enjoy because I think they open up and change. Mm-hmm. And you can sit there and, all you got was ethanol, the first note. Okay, then it's a lot of peanut. Now, I get a lot of cinnamon, almost like Fireball level cinnamon. The candy, not the drink. I don't do that drink. But I used to love those candies. Yeah, you do the little chew on there. It's really hot, which makes me think that it's really that fact that it's closer to 6 years is kind of coming through. Because I've had ones that are 7+, and while they're a high proof, they don't come off as hot. This is coming off a little hot.
It's showing itself.
Yeah, I think the age is a little bit of an impact there.
Yeah, I think a cube would help. I think it
would mellow it down.
It mellow it down a little
touch.
bit.
Yeah,
I'd be curious. I think it would open the flavors up a little more. We'd probably pick up maybe a little bit more than peanuts.
Probably, and maybe some of the cinnamon might come up, and maybe a touch of a sweeter note.
Like a brown sugar or something.
Yeah, because it's all kind of there. It's sitting.
It's overpowered right now.
Right now it's overpowered by the heat of the proof.
Yeah,
it's kind of a shame. I mean, don't get me wrong. We're nitpicking. It's very good.
It's part of the show.
It's very good. I mean, we got to be a little bit critical because when you start going through, I'm not sure how many we've been through at this point, but you got to start to be a little bit nitpicky and be a little bit of a whiskey nerd. Overall, it's good. I don't think it's as good as Granny Batch. I know it's not nearly as good. I don't think we've reviewed them yet, but the 1903 and 1904, the Country Ham and the Beaten Biscuits are amazing. They're both very,
I've got one in my house. I can't remember which one I got. It's unopened.
I don't know which one you have.
It's another episode.
There you go. It's good. It just comes off as a little young and sharp.
Yeah. Hey, for Freddie, it's not a bad one for his first one to pick.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah.
He's going to learn the trade.
He's got to learn and figure out what's going to drive certain notes, certain tastes. Mm-hmm. And boy, do I wish that I was the one that was helping with that. That would be an amazing little job right there, is going through and picking out 6 or 7 barrels to blend together to come up with a certain note and a certain taste, and unfiltered, I mean, just uncut, just straight out of the barrel, all those blended together. It's an experiment, and that just takes time to get a feel for. I gotta assume that's not something you get right on the first shot.
No, I wouldn't think so. Not at all.
So now that makes me interested to see what the 03 and the 04, if they're going to continue to work together, I'm only thinking they're going to get better.
Oh, absolutely.
There's always something to look forward to. Silver linings.
I'm excited to explore this Booker's lineup. I've got one. Again, I don't remember which one I have. You've got a couple up there.
We'll get to them.
We'll get to them. And then next year, with the
keep going.
Father and son picking them out.
Yeah, that's got to be just fun to pass on everything that Booker taught to Fred, everything that Fred's going to teach to Freddie. Like that's just going to be an amazing amount of exploration that we get to continue to do with the whole Beam family.
On the card though to read the mash or the barrels and how they picked different houses and the percentages. It's just.
I love these little cards. The fact that they give you a little history of why they named it that way, a little how they picked it, what they were going for their notes, which Peanut was one of the notes that they were going for. So, they succeeded. But I really like whoever put that together, whoever was the marketing guy behind that one, or girl, no prejudice there. They hit it. Like this is something that whiskey nerds are just going to love forever. So I really want to get a little book. I think the little book is.
I hear this only being allocated in Kentucky.
Is it?
Road trip.
It's not that far.
No, it's not.
But I really think that what they're doing by selecting select barrels for certain notes and combining them on a very limited basis is a great little experiment that they have going on there. And so much better than regular Beam, which we really need to do some of those regular, like, people always know what Beam is, and the regular Jack Daniels and regular...
the Devil's Cut.
Yeah.
They call this the Devil's Cut.
We're really going to have to get down to those levels of what the... hey, I remember drinking a lot of Jack Daniels.
We got a friend. The White Label's one of his favorites.
Absolutely correct.
This has been a very informative episode.
Yeah.
I mean, for me.
Booker's is always that way.
Just the whole batch story, just the history of the distillery. But no, I'm looking forward to sampling the bottle I got at home. And we got at least 2 more up there to sample. But yeah, those will be for another episode. But we appreciate you joining. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, we encourage you to hit the like button at the bottom of the screen.
While you're down there, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. That way you get notified every time we put out a new episode. And leave a comment. Have you tried any of the Booker lineup? What's your favorite? I know a handful of people that, like I said, that 1903, apparently, the Country Ham was like the best out of last year's lineup. What are your thoughts so far for 2020? Outside of everything else going on in the world, how was the Booker's this year? And can't wait to get my hands on 2003.
Yes.
So that'll be coming up at some point.
Well, we look forward to seeing all of you back on the next episode.
Thanks for watching.
Cheers.
Cheers.